Hit me.
Alright, now that the top side is essentially pretty much all assembled except for the back panel portion, I'm going to be going through and connecting all of these connectors right here that have been fed through the top side, so that way the game will actually function. A bunch of this is all right here, all throughout. Just going to make sure that everything is connected and going good. Then I'm going to install the LEDs, and then I think the playfield underneath should be done. Alright guys, we are about to install decals on my Johnny Mnemonic. Now I know what you're thinking. You've already got decals on here, Cary. What are you talking about? That don't make any sense. Well, when you see a difference between this and this, so it's like different tones of blacks, and there's reasoning behind that, and honestly guys, it's a long story. Ow, I'm tripping over stuff. But basically these are bad. All of this, it's not good enough for me. I've got all new hot and sexy, oh look at this, colors are so much better. So we're gonna be taking all this off, and I'm not looking forward to it. And then we're going to be putting on the new hotness. Finally, good decals. Sizing is correct. Color is absolutely phenomenal. These are actually better than any other ones that I've seen. This finish, oh God, I can't, does not do it justice on this camera, guys. This is a matte UV ink reactive decal. And it's a vinyl. What goes on horribly. You're talking like I have never had to put on decals so damn slow to make sure I didn't mess them up with air bubbles or anything like that. But yeah, so now that I've got this one on here, that's good. I'm gonna have to put them on this, because I mean, look at the difference in the reds. Look at that red. Look at that red. That red. That red. They don't match. It's not the same kind of finish. This has got more of a gloss, shiny look. It still is good, but it doesn't match what I've got on my cabinet now, which has much more of a matte finish, and it looks really good. Finally, I have been through hell to get these damn decals correct. So I'm going to send this file to Classic Arcades and tell him this is the one that he needs to use whenever he's sending out Johnny Mnemonic decals. Now, he's going to have the correct art, but it's going to look like that, because that's this type of material and ink color that he uses. But at least the sizing is going to be correct. This, can't tell you where I got it done. Sorry, I was swore to secrecy. About to install the new decals, new style at least, onto the back box panel. But I wanted to show you the obvious difference between just the reds in comparison to what you would normally get from Classic Arcades. The color is so much better on this. With a matte finish. This is a little dusty, but it'll clean off. But yeah, look at the difference on that. Blues, not as poppy, but definitely a lot better on the red, and that's definitely why I had to change these, because this red is just so much better, and obviously the tone of it being a matte needs to match the cabinet. I mean, look at the color differences. I've gone over this in a previous video probably about a year or two ago. If there's anything that you can do to preserve your cabinet as well as the artwork on it, it is to use these, not these. These are okay if like you've already got the OEM decals, so there's no concern there. But you notice that these are decals that I put on my Last Action Hero, but I'm not using those. Because if you use these on decals, you're going to get wrinkling. So it's the same thing with my Getaway. I no longer use those because I use these. The thing is, if you install these without removing the decal behind it, you're still going to get the wrinkling around the edges, and it's not going to be pretty, guys. I know for a fact. So, ever since I learned that, I install them first to make sure that these bolts are freely to be removed, like so. Get them screwed in both sides, and then I use an X-Acto blade and cut all the way around it, even just a little bit further out, just to make sure there's a little bit of wiggle room for whatever reason when it comes to nudging. And then I remove that portion of the decal, reinstall it, and then voila, you will no longer have to worry about wrinkling decals, and it will also preserve your cabinet with these nice and sturdy protectors when it comes to nudging and moving things around. Alright, so I've got the decal all removed on the sides. Kind of gives you an idea of how much extra I cut off around that portion right there. I know some of you were like, oh no, it's cut off too much. The thing is, when you put a leg on there, you're not going to see it. And that's what really matters. And the leg goes like right there. None the wiser, and your decals will last longer than you. Alright, we are ready to start putting boards back into the cabinet for Johnny Mnemonic. And what I do during the whole cosmetics restoration portion like that is that I keep all my boards in a box, so that way I don't have to worry about them being damaged by any outside stuff, dust, and everything like that. So what I'm going to be doing is taking one board at a time, and I'm going to be going over it to make sure that all of my connectors, ribbon cable connectors, everything is all nice and good to go before putting it into the machine. So let's get started. So I've gone over the MPU already, and I've reflown the connectors on this one. I didn't see any kind of red flags, except for the fact that I need to get the NV RAM for this board, so that is on my shopping list to get that done. But for the time being, I'm good by continuing because the board will work, and NV RAM is rather easy to put in on this. What I'm going to be doing on this board is replacing this capacitor right here, C2, and C8 right here. These are your two problematic capacitors for this particular driver board. This is one of those recommended things that you do if you come across a board like this that's over 25 years old. Chances are this capacitor may already be starting to leak into the traces underneath it. And this one's just, a troublesome that it's just always seems to be finicky. So those two capacitors, C2, C8, replace those. I'm even going to up the voltage, I believe, from 25 to 35. So it'll even be stronger on that. And then those are the first two things I've noted just by going over this. I haven't done anything else just by visual means. So we're going to go over it some more and see if we find anything else. Alright, so both capacitors have been removed. Look, guys. No traces lifted or damage or anything like that on both capacitors that were removed. I cannot swear by this thing any more than I already have on one of my straight down the middle videos. This is the Hakko FR301. I'm telling you, when it comes to desoldering things and not having to deal with a lot of damage in case you don't use one of these, I cannot recommend it enough. Alright, let's talk about replacing capacitors. So you have the voltage rating, which is first right there, 100 volts. And the next one is basically the output, what it's putting out. So the U stands for micro. F stands for Faraday. So microfaraday. So 100 microfaraday is what this thing is putting out. What you can do when you're buying replacements, and people question this all the time, is that will this capacitor work? So 100 means basically this is the rating of the capacitor before it will explode. It's rated to at 100 volts, meaning if it goes over 100 volts, then essentially you are damaging this capacitor. When you want to upgrade your capacitors, upgrade the voltage rating. So I'm going to upgrade this one to probably about maybe even a 200. I don't know. I'm going to see what's even available at my local shop, or if I even have any here. But you can up the voltage rating, the first number, but do not up the output. So as long as I go above my rating and stay the same on my output, yes, that capacitor will work. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I know for sure that this one's going to be at least a 35 volt whenever I upgrade it. It's currently 25 volts at 100 microfarads. So going to be seeing if I have any of these in stock. Currently, I don't think I do. All right, let's do a smoke test with let's plug this in first. With just the cabinet portion plugged in. Alright, so with only cabinet, no playfield attached, we're going to do a smoke test just to see what we get. So, here we go. Alright, so no locked on coils. No smoke. That's good. No locked on coils. There's no damn coil. The only coil I got is the knocker, and it's not even plugged in. Alright, we've added some more cables. Let's go ahead and try it with logic going now too. So we've got cabinet connections and full logic. So let's see what we get. Alright. Looking good. Alright. Let me check the voltage readings on it and be good to go, hopefully. Got the playfield all hooked up. We are about to do a smoke test. First time turning it on since everything was taken apart. Let's see what we get without display. If I can find the power button. Here we go. No coils locked on. So far, so good. Let's lock this in place if I can. Ooh. Okay. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. Don't know if the GI is supposed to do that or not. I don't recall. But it looks solidly lit. But whenever it goes into strobe mode, I guess every GI is doing it, yeah. Especially since it's different GI strands, that's got to be the way it's supposed to be. Oh! But there we go. Alright, so gonna need to adjust that. That bulb's out. And I think I've got that one's gonna need to be adjusted. And yeah, I've got some bulbs that probably just need a little bit of a wiggling around and moving around. But I want to say that all my GI is lit and going, so that's a big plus. Alright, let's start adjusting some bulbs and testing some switches. Alright, just needed to adjust the leads on that bulb for the pop bumper, so now all that's going. Moving on. Alright guys, so when I say I'm adjusting the leads, all I'm doing, and all you typically need to do for little stuff like this, is take the loose lead, if I can get no hands, and just kind of move it to the outer portion a little further out. Yeah, just move it a little further out to the outside like that on both sides, the one that's not going into the bulb obviously. Move them both to the edge like that, and that pretty much guarantees that you're going to have a good contact inside these twists. Alright, I believe we are ready to get this game off of the rotisserie and get the hand mechanism on the back of this playfield and test that. Not looking forward to it.